That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with an offer that can help steer your retirement in the right direction. Look, we're going to navigate the turbulent waters of 24 with this financial uncertainties and shifting tides. Having expert guidance is more crucial than ever, and that's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. As Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings expert knowledge and insight. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, isn't just a guide. It's your navigational compass for mastering the financial seas. With decades of experience, Alfie has crafted a powerful roadmap to help you chart your course and make impactful waves in your retirement. Look, for a limited time, you can claim your free copy of this valuable guide. That's right, no cost. This book is more than just pages. It's your blueprint for a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. Don't let this opportunity drift by. Text book to 239-747-1080. That's book to 239-747-1080. Look, secure your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently navigate towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
It's always a good day when you hear from TJ Meister from the Floor Meisters in Naples, 6281 Naples Boulevard, 239-596-4964. All right, let's see what's going on with TJ today. How are you, TJ?
I'm doing well, thank you, Drew. It's good to hear you on the radio.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right, Floor Meisters, what do we got going on?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tec. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
Why do people love Core-Tec so much?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
You got to call the Floor Meisters in Naples. What do you need? Tile, carpet, Core-Tec, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, 596-4964. Give them a call, 596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just got to hold on. and know we'll get through this.
Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, it's great to see you there. Thanks for joining us today. This is Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Steele has 3 E's, just in case you're wondering. And anytime you want to listen to the show 24/7, you can go to drewsteele.com, the website. That's my personal website. You can go there and listen to the program. So in case you missed something, you can catch back up on it. Maybe you just want to hear Big D's voice. Big D's on the other side of the glass. He's got one of these crooner voices. He's the voice where the ladies swoon when they hear his voice, right, D?
That's the first time I've ever heard it described like that. But happy Wednesday, happy Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe they're not swooning. Well, I don't know. Maybe they do. And Nina's over there in the newsroom. She's getting all the breaking news and everything that we need to know as the show progresses. And there's always lots. There's things that are popping all the time. And we'll get to a lot of these stories, including what in the world is going on with Trump's cabinet picks. And I'm not talking about how great some of them are, because they are. And some of them but there's some amazing ones even recently in the past 12 hours, some fantastic picks that we're going to talk about. But the fact that we're hearing a lot of things that we shouldn't be hearing, like doxing and swatting and threats to people's family and their home. And excuse me, what's going on here? So we're going to get to that coming up in just a little bit. And anytime you want to watch the program, by the way, don't forget, tell your friends at FL Voice News. That's on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook. You could go there to watch. And what you do is you click the little, by the way, if you're on X, in the top right-hand corner, there's a little bell, and the bell goes ding, because it's a bell. And next thing you know when we're live. How was that, D? Was that said properly? You click the bell goes ding, and there we go.
What a great noise that is, too.
No, it's not. It's almost like the ladies swoon every time they hear that.
Ding. It's
swoon
true. Bell.
We'll call it the swoon bell in honor of you. No, we'll just we won't even worry about that. Let's move on. All right, I don't know if you heard this or not, but Kamala Harris made an appearance. I just had to talk about. I don't want to get too involved in this because you've probably heard already about it. Kamala Harris decided to come out from Hawaii and her vacation, or head to the hotel room and do a video to talk to the people that were so involved in the process of trying to see that she would be the president of the. Can you believe this? They chose Kamala Harris to be the candidate on the Democrat ticket to be president of the United States. We were this close, people. Well, actually, we were more like, if you're watching the video, we were more like this close, or maybe even this close. But anyway, the point is that that's who they chose. And so yesterday she came out with this video that some have said, I don't know. I know you're talking to supporters, but listen, can you, Big D, this isn't really nice to say, but maybe she had a cocktail or two before this. It's
hard to tell because I feel like if she has 1 or 2, it's the same as if she has 0. So it's a toss-up.
Because they put comparison photos. That's the problem. Her hair looked different. Her facial expression looked. She didn't look.
Yeah, the
good.
photo they put up for the comparison though was something you put on like a federal website page. So I would say that is debunked. But she does look a little down, a little unsober. But
yeah,
I wouldn't go as far as saying to compare it to the picture is unfair. It's a professionally edited photo versus somebody just talking live.
Right, and airbrushed and everything else to get out all the wrinkles. Although Have you ever had that done to you? Do you get pictures taken and they airbrush? Have they ever done that to you before?
I'm not quite at that point in my life where I have to worry about that, but I'm also not looking forward to that either.
Yeah, it happens. It's okay. Well, it already happens. Can we? All right. I'm not trying to take a drive off the road here and take a diversion, but let's divert for just a second, and then we'll come back. Don't worry. They're already doing it. What do you think social media is? What do you think Facebook is? When you think people are posting the worst pictures of themselves? No, they're posting the best ones, and they're probably scrubbing it up a little bit too on TikTok and Facebook. They're already doing it. That's the world we live in. It's sort of, I can only imagine what it's like dating these days, where you see somebody on Facebook or TikTok or one of these websites, and you're like, oh, look at that, and then you walk into the room and the door opens and you're like, oh, hi, ah. Like, it's like, who are you? That kind of thing. It's got to be horrible. Anyway, so Kamala Harris, in some kind of state of, I don't know what it was yesterday, wanted to talk to the people that were helping to make her the president of the United States, those supporters out there, by letting them know.
It was personal for you. And you gave all that you could to support our campaign.
Yeah, how much did you give?
Because of your efforts, get this, we raised an historic $1.4 billion, almost $1.5 billion from grassroots supporters alone.
Okay, do you think it's a good idea for Kamala Harris to be talking about how much money was raised, knowing that $20 million is missing? Well, they're in debt, $20 million. That yesterday we played the audio of Peter Doocy on Fox News talking about the GoFundMe page for some of the staffers in the DNC because they don't have enough money to pay them because the money just it's like, bye-bye, there it goes. Okay, see you later, bye-bye. Nice to have the money around and all those billions of dollars. And then even, of all people, Democrat mega donor John Morgan and Morgan fame. And even yesterday we played the audio of him on Chris Cuomo's program.
$900,000 to put her face on the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I think it's pretty safe to say that the face that was put onto the Sphere in Las Vegas was not the face that people saw yesterday in Hawaii. I think a big deal. Is that a good thing to say? I mean, safe to say.
That is a very good assumption.
Yeah, that's a good assumption. Thank you very much. There it is. What else did he say?
In the Sphere, the ego, the crazy, the commissions. Whoa. I was at the White House for a dinner Friday night, talking to a lot of people, and I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of whispering. There's a lot of names about who got paid this, who got paid that, and a lot of people got rich on the back of donors trying to stop Trump.
Got rich on the backs of donors trying to stop Trump. So in other words, 100 days out, you've got Kamala Harris. She's a losing candidate. You know it. So is that what happened? Did all of these donors put the money in and then they took the money and gave it to all different kinds of people? Hey, all you famous people, you've helped us in the past. Here's a couple of $1 million for you that have helped, and maybe do something for us right now. But you know she's not going to win. So here's some money for you and some money for you, Oprah style. Money for you, money for you, money for you. It was going all over the place, and a lot of people got rich off the donor money. Yeah, that's not a good thing. All right, and just a couple of more. Just maybe one more thing on Kamala Harris from yesterday and talking to supporters. Like Kamala, what would we call this? I guess we would call this Kamala's Deep Reflections. Is that what we call it? Okay, let's try that again. Here we go. Ready? Kamala's Deep Reflections. Yeah, that was pretty good.
We are all in this together. And on this practical eve of Thanksgiving, I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with the ability and to find the ability at this moment to just remember there is so much to be thankful for. And so I wish for you that you are surrounded by...
I can't do it. I just can't. I can't. And by the way, can I just ask this question? When she says...
Find the ability at this moment.
Yeah.
To just remember there is so much to be thankful for.
Can I just one time, I would just love once if somebody said there's so much to be thankful for. Tell us, what is it? Like in your eyes, can you just finish the thought? Right? When there's so much to be thankful. Well, what? Tell me, what is it? What is there to be thankful for? If you're a supporter of Kamala Harris right now, and you literally, and I'm using this word, I shouldn't use the word literally, but you literally have people that are standing at Lake Michigan and getting groups of people together to do primal screams.
They're just going round and round and round.
No, I'm not kidding. There's Democrats that are gathering around Lake Michigan to do primal screams into the nothingness. Like, if that, help them. Do something. I mean, they need help. Clearly, they need help. I mean, this is not normal. That's not normal, everybody. Doing primal screams because you're upset that Trump won is not normal. But help them. You've got so much to be thankful for. Like what? Just give me one thing. Help me out. Help me, help you, help me, help you, Tom Cruise. Come on. But you can't get that. It's just odd. So that whole thing was odd. Kevin O'Leary was on CNN yesterday and basically telling the panelists on CNN, you don't get why Kamala Harris lost.
The root of this mistake actually came very early on. They didn't run a process. They made an excuse of $317 million in the kitty. They kept the same campaign manager and said, we will anoint this faulted, broken candidate who was inconsequential in her vice presidency, lost in 2019, as you detailed, complete loser in 2020, never could articulate anything, had no compassion for people. And her own advocates, let's not forget this. I remember the minute this happened, I was in Europe. She went on to The View. All those women wanted her to win. They threw her a softball. They threw her a second softball. She was so weak as a candidate, she couldn't even answer that she would do something different. It ricocheted around the world. She was finished.
Well, what else do you need to know? Here's another thing you need to know. Number one, you need to know what to be thankful for. Thanksgiving coming up. What are you thankful for? Tell us, what should we be thankful for as Democrats? The second thing, because you can't, right? There's really not a whole lot. The second thing, well, I guess you always got Hillary Clinton around the corner, so that's always good to know.
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
Although she's sick, so don't bother her right now. But what to be thankful for. And then the other thing is, get over it. Stop it. It's done, right? Stop going over and over and over again on CNN and MSNBC. Like, stop talking about it. Move on. Move on. They can't move on. They just keep doing it. They just keep talking about it, and it's nonstop. And for people, it's just like, you gotta just, I don't know what you do. And even on The View, it was Sonny Hostin who, I guess it was today, was talking about Hunter Biden and how maybe Hunter should be pardoned. And here's the funny thing, this is kind of like the delusion that's out there, the delusional Democrats, the double D's. See, Big D, that's the double D's. The double D's is the delusional Democrats. You're Big D, and that's the double D's. You see how that works? It's we do the alliteration is what it is. Well,
the
Democrats
names can be together, but just don't ever put me in the same sentence as them again, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, I don't want to put you in the same category as Democrats, but the delusional Democrats demagoguing about different differentials of dogma. Whoa, I don't know where that all came from. But anyway, Sonny Hostin here, check this out.
One of the issues that I have is when you look at the charges that Hunter Biden was indicted on.
Right, so Hunter Biden and the charges that he's indicted on, and we all know there was a whole lot more that he should have been indicted on, and the reason why he was indicted at all by Biden's DOJ and the indictments that were going down was because they had to do something to take off the headlines that there were bigger issues that Hunter Biden was involved with, and the laptop and the information from there, and Ukraine and China and business dealings and the big guy and all of that stuff. And so we've got this indictment that comes along, and it's like off the table. That's it. Hey, listen, you got to leave Hunter alone because he's been indicted. All right, so calm down. Right, so
less than 0.09% of the population is indicted are indicted on that charge. And so it's basically close to zero. So I actually think that the only reason he was indicted is because his last name is Biden.
All right, so let's just stop right there. No, it wasn't, because who did the indictment? It wasn't Trump that did the indictment. That's the first thing. Really, you think it's because of Biden last name? No, that would be weird, considering, okay, what I just laid out. But then the second part is, what is it, 0.09% of the nation is ever charged with something like this. So what's your suggestion?
So if you look at it like that, right, if you look at it like that, then it is the right thing to do to correct course and correct that wrong and pardon his son.
Okay. So let me get this straight. Sonny Hostin, using Democrat logic.
On less than 0.09% of the population is indicted, are indicted on that charge. And so it's basically close to zero.
Okay. So it's close to zero people that get charged with this. So using Democrat logic, that would suggest that, whatevs. What was the example? Big D, the example the pre-show example I brought up, you didn't like that one? Is that a bad example?
It's intense, but you can use it.
I don't want to get too intense, but if you've got 1 million people in a city, and in a city of 1 million people, every single person is law-abiding, except one dude who decides that he's going to steal 15 cars out of the dealership because he wants to try them out because he can't buy them. And he goes and he crashes them into a neighbor's, the front of the neighbor's house, goes right through into the kitchen area, and the woman's baking some beautiful bread, and turns around and says, "My beautiful bread." Or I don't know what she would say, or she might say something else. The point is that happens, but it's 1 in a million. I mean, it's literally 1 in a million. It's a million city, and nobody's doing anything wrong except this one person. But because it's just 1 in a million, we don't charge the guy with theft or anything. Does that make sense to you, Big D? Do you see what I'm saying? So, it's 1 in a million. I mean, it's literally 1 in a million. So why charge? That's Democrat logic. Does that make sense? Was that a better analogy than what I used earlier? Is that?
Yeah, you changed it up on me, so it wasn't as intense as I said it was going to be. You changed it.
Okay, good.
But yes,
that
was well said.
I had to change it. Yeah. So anyway, I was a little more intense before. Big D was like, "Whoa," and I was like, "If he's whoaing me, then I better take it down a notch." But you see, that's Democrat logic. This is what you do. This is why you do primordial screams in places like Lake Michigan, where you get together and you're just like, because you're all nuts. All right, not every single one of you. I mean, there are some Democrats out there that aren't crazy. I mean, but politically, you're nuts. Like, what's wrong with you? That's left logic. Ooh, that's Democrat. No, that's lefty logic that legitimately loses. Legitimately. Okay. You can't do it. You got to stop. It's crazy that you think that because, and it's really not because of that. It's not because it's 1 in a million, and so why are we bothering to? I mean, it's part of it is that. It's sort of like hey, you could steal up to $999 worth of stuff, and we'll look the other way. But I'll tell you what, you better come over here with that bag because we want to make sure it's $999. Because if it's $1,000, oh, you're going to jail. Can you think about the logic there? Take a second and step back and think about this. You have lefty cities who are like, yeah, you could steal up to $999 and not be charged with a crime, but once you go over 1,000, that's it. How you gonna check it? Are you stopping them to check the bags before they walk out to make sure it's under $1,000? You knuckleheads! I think that's not really nice. You can't call people knuckleheads. I mean, it's such a rude thing. I'm sorry.
And I'm a knucklehead at times.
I mean, Tim Walz called himself a knucklehead, so I guess in that case, just don't look, kids. Don't be a knucklehead. So don't follow the left. It's illogical. But there's Sonny Hostin. All right. So I kind of digressed a little bit, but you see where I'm going. The overall arching theme here is when it comes to Democrats, they're not coping very well. Kamala Harris, clearly, after watching that video yesterday to her supporters, is not coping very well. Democrats overall who for some reason feel like they have to go to Lake Michigan and scream into the atmosphere, you're not well. There's something wrong. It's not going very well for you. And then the suggestion that we can pardon Hunter Biden for a crime that not many people get charged with, and that's fixing things. That's crazy. That's wrong. That's so lefty. No, it's but it's but Democrats. That's what it is. All right, moving on. Here's a fun story out of the state of Florida that I saw on FL Voice News, Florida's Voice. What a great resource. Did I tell you that it's a great resource at any time you want to go find out about some of the stories that we are talking about right here on Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, that you can go to flvoicenews.com. You can not only click on my face and watch the program unfold before your very eyes, but you can also see some of the stories that we're talking about, like this one. Florida Republican lawmaker files bill to ban weather modification. Now, let's be honest. Big D, you're at first blush, you didn't know anything except the headline. You saw the headline. What did you think? Republican lawmaker, a bill to ban weather modification. Be honest. First thoughts. What did you think?
My first thought is that they believe Democrats are altering the weather.
Okay. Okay, so there's that. And so we have to stop it. All right, so it is, who's the senator, Republican Senator Ileana Garcia. There's a House version that was being filed. It has yet to be filed, but they're talking about it. The bill states that the, quote, injection, release, dispersion by any means of a chemical compound, a substance, or an apparatus into the atmosphere within the borders of this state for the express purpose of affecting the temperature, the weather, or the intensity of sunlight is prohibited. And according to the bill's text, any individual or corporation that conducts this weather modification operation in violation of the section is going to be charged with a second-degree misdemeanor, may face fines up to $10,000. Now, the young Republicans in Tampa Bay issued a statement last May, and they were talking about the legislature and how they should introduce a bill banning, quote, weather modification projects in the state because chemicals were being used in weather modification is proven to result in health consequences for communities that they're in. And look, it's been going on. There have been for decades and decades. Some would say over 100 years there have been people who have tried and have done, and there is a process to modify weather, to make it rain when it's not raining and the like. We've known this for years and years and years, and even the military.
You told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest.
I mean, that was in the 70s, and that was on Capitol Hill, and they were talking about the militarization of the weather and weather modification and the New World Order, and it got a little crazy there. But how crazy is it when you consider the way the New World Order is being set up now? But anyway, the point is that we've been talking about it for a long, long time. So why not get ahead of it? Why not get ahead of it? Why wait until something comes along and you can't stop it? And we're not talking about, and you know, second blush, and I'm looking at the time, but at second blush, there are people that are like, oh, is that because Democrats are somehow going to make a hurricane pop up in Dunedin during an election? No, that's not what we're talking about. Okay? Something completely different, so be getting ahead of it. By the way, we are statewide, in case people were wondering. From Dunedin or wherever you are in the state of Florida, this is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipton Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24, an election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, just a reminder, a couple of things. First of all, anytime you want to call the program, you can do that by picking up the phone. Dialing 866-588-8303. That's our phone number. We're live 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day. Also, coming up in a little while, scheduled to join us, 4:05, the great Lee Smith. And we're going to talk about what has been happening with Trump's cabinet picks and a little more detail on some of the bad things that have been happening with them as of late, like in the past 48 hours. We'll explain coming up in just a bit. And also some other things that have been coming up lately, yeah, I know. D is like, yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah, we got to do this. Including, D, do I want to mention this real fast? The one thing about the fingers, do we do that? Is it okay with you?
You have to.
D is not, let me just put it this way. D is not a fan of this one. So, I don't know. Okay. So let me just read the headline and then we'll go from there. And it's coming up in just a second. What your finger length reveals about your relationship with alcohol. We'll have that coming up, even though Big D is like, ow. What did you say pre-show? What did you say about it? Like,
I think I just said
news?
nope.
No, or fake news. Fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah, fake news.
I hate
all right, all that's coming up. But first, let's do this from the Florida's Voice newsroom. It's top of the news.
Top of the news. Florida's headlines. Now.
All right, let's find out what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anita Padilla's got the latest. What's up?
Hey, Drew, here's what we're following for you right now in our Florida's Voice newsroom. The Trump-Vance transition team reporting multiple threats against several appointees and nominees. Caroline Levitt, the transition spokesperson, says that there have been acts of intimidation and violence, but it's not going to deter them from the work that they're going to continue to do in uniting the nation. But these threats do come as the Trump administration is moving forward with selections for key government posts, including the Departments of Justice, Defense, and Commerce. It appears among those who were targeted is former Florida Republican Matt Gaetz. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's confirming that there was a swatting call to his supposed mailbox. The threat was cleared, and the sheriff says Gaetz doesn't even live at that location. Well, it looks like Joe Gruters is eyeing Florida's new chief financial officer post now that Jimmy Patronis is going to be making a run at the congressional seat once held by Matt Gaetz. The Florida Republican already has lawmakers throwing their support behind a Gruters run. People like U.S. Senator Rick Scott and Congressman Byron Donalds, even Matt Gaetz, they're all endorsing him for CFO. Grutter says he is looking forward to running, whether it is by appointment or at the ballot box. Florida's First Lady, Casey DeSantis, announcing the launch of a second annual Hope for the Holidays toy drive. Nice. The charitable initiative is to provide toys for children who are in foster care. 13 agencies are going to be accepting those toys through the 13th of December. We've got all of that information on our website if you want to check it out. Donations could also be made directly through the website, where you can just go on there and then you can buy the toys that are going to be sent to Hope Florida, and then they will distribute them. Cool. Hope Florida is a statewide initiative that connects families and individuals with the resources and support they need to become self-sufficient. Excellent. All right, that's it for now. I'll be back in another hour to tell you about a surprising turn for Democrat Lauren Book. Wait until you hear what the former Senate Minority Leader wants to do. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here, and I'll have that story for you at 4:35 here at Florida's Voice Radio. Drew, back over to you.
All right, thanks, AP. Appreciate you. Anita Padilla in the Florida's Voice newsroom, and we do top of the news each and every day at this time. And so you can get the headlines that you can go to the website and check out for yourself as well at flvoicenews.com. And anytime you want to watch, by the way, at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. A lot of people watching us on X, and we do appreciate that. Thank you so much for making this program a part of your day. All right, so what else do we have going on here on Florida's Voice? Tariffs. Tariffs worry you? Are you sweating tariffs? Do you think it's a bad thing, you know, putting this tax on goods that are coming into the country, basically, that you look at and you are saying, all right, so this country has manipulated some of the trade practices, some of the things that they are doing as a nation we don't like, maybe even harming us in some way, shape, or form. If you look at, for example, China, and the president-elect has talked about China in the past and his concerns about what they're doing. And
China!
Sure. But the fentanyl that's coming across the southern border, and it's coming from there, and to help it to slow down, or at least to stop it, or at least slow it down. Maybe you put a tariff on some Chinese goods, and all of a sudden things start to see. Here's the thing: you look at tariffs as a tool. Tool. That's the way a lot of people look at it. Tariffs are a tool to get to a place of parity if it's in the marketplace, or to get something else that you're not getting otherwise that might have to do with, let's just say, national security, or maybe even the health and well-being of the country, things that people care about. And we've got to figure out how we're going to lock down the southern border as well. And we need help from countries like Canada and Mexico, where we know, 80-some-odd% of the goods being exported from Canada, as it were, are coming to the United States. 77%, I believe, coming from Mexico to the United States. You see how much there is there, and what it would mean if there were tariffs against those countries. And so when we're looking at Mexico and we're looking at the president there, and we're saying, hey, you got to do something about the cartels. You got to do something about all of these caravans that keep coming through. Slow it down or stop it. What do you say? Otherwise, hey, we might have to do fill in the blank. Now, a bigger question comes out after people start hearing tariffs, because immediately, I promise you, if you go to Al Gore's famous interwebs, for those that don't know, Al Gore invented the internet. Just ask him. If you go to Al Gore's interwebs, you'll quickly find out that it will be page after page after page of why tariffs are bad. Good luck trying to find out how tariffs are good. You're not going to find it. Just like on lefty media outlets, or even places where you would go to browse, where you would go to find information, like Google and AI. And there's an AI story we're going to get to today, too, on information and how it's being controlled, that want to make sure that that narrative continues to be out there, and others that are left-leaning. I mean, look at what's going on MSNBC. You got Chuck Todd, as Trump was vowing tariffs on Mexico and Canada and China on day one. He's not happy about this.
And by the way, just to simplify this, we're talking about tariffs, but let me make this pretty simple.
Please.
If this slaps on, it's a guacamole tax. We get most avocados in this country come from Mexico. If you enjoy guacamole, be prepared to pay a higher tax for it.
Oh, no. Big D, do you like guacamole? Is he speaking your language now? Are you getting a little worried? Are you scared your guac's going up? Is that you worried now?
I'm now scared. I buy guacamole every week, Drew. This could be concerning for me.
Yeah. So, all right. So a lot of questions. No, it's not. I mean, you probably do. A lot of your avocados coming from Mexico, and it's a big tax. It's a big price. Let me ask you a question, Big D, because this goes into a very, very important question, and something that I've asked people time and time and time again. I'm going to ask you, and listen, this is, I'm not throwing you under the bus or anything like that. I'm legitimately asking you a question that you didn't know was coming, because we didn't talk about it pre-show. Okay, are you ready for this? So
Yeah,
all right, here we go. How much will it go up? Like, exactly how much more will we pay per avocado? Do you know the answer to that?
I have no idea, Drew.
Yeah, that's because nobody does.
That's why we have guys like Chuck Todd.
right, to scare us into saying, you better get ready to pay more for your How much? Is it a penny, 2 pennies? Is it 10 cents? Is it $1? Is it $10? Like, what is it? And this is what so many people do. And it drives me crazy. I mean, it doesn't really drive me crazy, but it makes me think. It should make you think. Isn't it interesting when people talk about how bad tariffs are and how your prices are going to go up and how things are going to go through the roof? Like how much? And I'm only saying this because they'll never tell you. They'll never give you the amount. Like, how bad is it going to get? What are we looking at? Oh, it could go up 5 or 10. No, not could. Like, how much? What are we talking about? Because some might say if you actually found out what the number was, some people, a majority of people, may balk at that. May say, all right, it's a couple of cents. I'm paying a couple of cents more for my avocados. All right. Now, granted, there are a lot of people who can't afford to have prices go up because of a trade war or tariffs because they're on fixed income and the like. And I'm not dismissing that. But hear what I'm saying. You don't even know the number. Nobody knows the number, right? So you should know it. And here is David Asman on Fox Business, who today was talking about the concerns over inflation from Trump's tariffs and what could be coming. You know, it's all negative. There's no positive. Nobody's talking except the people there in Trump's cabinet, his administration, to be they understand the tool that is tariffs. So what did he say? And I want you to listen to this all the way through to the end. Check this out.
We've had 4 years of just talking, no action from the Biden administration. What has that produced? The biggest increase in immigration in American history, terrible problems with fentanyl from China, et cetera. We had 1 term of Trump already. We know what that produced. Action. It produced getting a clear trade, clear deal on migration with Mexico. Remain in Mexico worked. It cut migration down incredibly. We had a deal with China. It got them to buy more produce from the United States eventually and got a lot of tariff money. So we've been there before. We've done this, and Americans decided they would go with the trade-off of the fear of a little higher prices on Mexican tomatoes for the sake of getting rid of our terrible migrant crisis. We've had...
No, let me stop there. That's a big question, isn't it? I mean, when you think about it, that's pretty deep. So in the bigger picture, you could ask the question, hey, let's say your avocados are going to cost 3 cents more each. Let's say your guac is going to cost 5 cents more for the guac. I mean, I'm just coming up with the number because why not? Because nobody else will give us a number. What cost is too much for the nation's security? Because that's what we're talking about here, is it not? That's a big question, one that you have to answer. And also the suggestion that if the guac is going to cost more, wouldn't it be nice if everything else was coming down, like the cost of living and inflation and the prices of new home builds and the like, and because the products are costing us less because we're able to get rid of a lot of the regulations. We're able to take back some of the money that is sitting out there just waiting to be spent by this government that has caused all the inflation, and we can take some of that back. Like, you can do it. The government efficiency, Doge coming in and saying, yeah, we could get rid of that. We can get rid of that. We could save $1 trillion here. We could save some money there. So all of this helps to offset what is your 3 cents extra on your guac or whatever the number is, and make your dollar go further. And at the same time, we gain security nationally. I don't know, Big D, is that too broad? Do you see where I'm going with this? Does that make sense?
Sure, I see it.
Trump, yeah, right. And it's something we all have to be honest about. Like, well, we good with that? We're not good with that. Do we want to? Because there's a lot of scare tactics going on. Man, can you imagine how much the prices of guacamole is going to go? No, I can't. You want to know why? Because I don't know. Because you're not even giving me a number. Well, 25% tariff. I mean, do the math. Don't ask me to do the math. I've done math before. And I did it once. and I don't want to do it again. It hurts my head. But anyway, the point is, you get the point. So, tariff's the tool. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. Maybe you feel differently. Hey, if you want to message us at FL Voice News on any of our social media platforms, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, X, we'd love to hear from you. To Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I read that the most popular time to eat Thanksgiving dinner is between 2 and 3 p.m. Serving dinner at 2 p.m. is a polite way of telling your guests, we'd love to get you out of here as soon as possible.
I kind of like 2 to 3 p.m. Big D, Thanksgiving dinner, 2 to 3 p.m. I like that. Gives you time to kind of digest, get ready for the dessert later on, and watch some football. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's fair. We usually do appetizers from 2 to 3, and we'll eat dinner by 4:30 or 5, so still on the early side.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think it's like telling people to leave. I don't mind having people stay longer. I kind of like it. So I disagree with that. But here's the big question of the day, and this is the one that Dee wanted to hear about. Here we go. All right, so here's the headline. Born to drink? What your finger length reveals about your relationship with alcohol. Do you want to learn about this, or do you think it's just it's fake news? Fake news?
I think it's fake, but you can still humor me.
It's not fake. The American Journal of Human Biology, that's who published it. That sounds pretty legit to me. I mean, it could be, 4 guys, getting a laugh because people are talking about this and put it together. I don't know. But anyway, they suggest that the length ratio between your index and ring fingers might predict how much alcohol you're likely to consume. They call it the 2D/4D ratio. Okay, so get ready. So look at your hand right now. Now, by the way, if you're driving, 10 and 2. Don't do this. Do this at home. Do it later. Listen to at drewsteele.com, the website. Steele has 3 E's. You can go there. We stream the show 24/7, so you can catch up later on what we talked about now. But don't do it if you're driving. All right. So, Big D, is your ring finger longer or shorter compared to your index finger?
Longer.
Okay, it's longer. Okay. All right. So it's actually shaped by the amount of testosterone and estrogen you're exposed to in the womb. People exposed to higher levels of testosterone before birth end up with a lower 2D/4D ratio, meaning your ring finger is longer than your index finger, while those exposed to more estrogen have a higher ratio. What makes it intriguing is how this exposure could influence behaviors later in life. In this case, alcohol consumption patterns. They're saying that people with lower 2D/4D ratios, indicating a higher prenatal testosterone exposure, were more likely to consume alcohol and showed higher risks for problematic drinking behaviors. So that's you? Wait a minute. No. What? No. I mean, that's what it says, but that doesn't say Big D's drinks a lot.
It says most of them are probably like that. That's probably what the study says. But yeah, I don't even drink, so I don't have a problem.
Yeah, no, me neither. The 258 university students, 169 women, 89 men. I don't even care anymore. You're right. It's fake news. That's what I say. Fake news. So that's what they came up with. And if you want to find out more about this story, I'll go look it up someplace because I don't want to talk about it anymore. Neither does D. We just want to move on. I think that's a good idea. So let's move on. We're moving on. All right, coming up in a couple of more minutes, the great Lee Smith, dare I say, friend of the show, best-selling author, Disappearing the President, is a book that he has out right now that explains who's driving the political violence targeting Trump, his aides, and supporters. Well, let me tell you something. That is timely, considering the stories that we've been hearing about today, and really the dangers to the cabinet. Trump cabinet nominees face death threats, bomb scares, swatting. What's going on here? So we're going to get into more detail coming up on that. And in just a little bit, scheduled to join us, 4:05, is the great Lee Smith. We'll talk about that coming up. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it. No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
All right, anytime you want to watch the program, you can go to our social media sites at FL Voice News. That would be on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. And of course, anytime you want to listen to the program streaming live, drewsteele.com, the website Steele has 3 E's. You can go there and even listen 24/7 if you like. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with an offer that can help steer your retirement in the right direction. Look, we're going to navigate the turbulent waters of 24 with this financial uncertainties and shifting tides. Having expert guidance is more crucial than ever, and that's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. As Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings expert knowledge and insight. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, isn't just a guide. It's your navigational compass for mastering the financial seas. With decades of experience, Alfie has crafted a powerful roadmap to help you chart your course and make impactful waves in your retirement. Look, for a limited time, you can claim your free copy of this valuable guide. That's right, no cost. This book is more than just pages. It's your blueprint for a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. Don't let this opportunity drift by. Text book to 239-747-1080. That's book to 239-747-1080. Look, secure your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently navigate towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
It's always a good day when you hear from TJ Meister from the Floor Meisters in Naples, 6281 Naples Boulevard, 239-596-4964. All right, let's see what's going on with TJ today. How are you, TJ?
I'm doing well, thank you, Drew. It's good to hear you on the radio.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right, Floor Meisters, what do we got going on?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for CoreTech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the West Coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. If somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
Why do people love CoreTech so much?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
You got to call the Floor Meisters in Naples. What do you need? Tile, carpet, CoreTech, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, 596-4964. Give them a call, 596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Great to see you here today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D on the other side of the glass, and he is in the newsroom. Big thank you to all the affiliates across the state of Florida for allowing us to be on your radio stations. We appreciate you so much. And everybody who is watching on our social media sites at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. And you can watch anytime you like. We do appreciate it. I have to tell you, when I saw this story today, I got a little worried, disturbed. Trump cabinet nominees facing death threats, bomb scares, swatting. You've got to be kidding me. You think to yourself, it's hard to believe that it's going on. But, we do have the left in this country, and we have people that are still dealing with their derangement syndrome, if you will. And the first person I thought about getting hold of is the great Lee Smith, who's joining us right now on Florida's Voice, of course, best-selling author. His latest book is Disappearing the President. And I am so happy to have an opportunity to talk to him today. And friend of the show. Lee, may I say you are a friend of the show? Is that okay? May I say that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I got to say, I mean, we've never seen it. We've spoken on the radio, and now we get to see each other's face. And, I hope you're not horrified, and I hope your audience isn't either. I'm wearing a tie. I'm wearing a tie. Dress up for your great audience and you.
Well, I appreciate that, Lee. It's good to see you. So, before we get into that, one thing I did want to ask you, Jay Bhattacharya, hello. Can you speak to that? Because, wow, I mean, that is like mind blown. What a pick for NIH.
Well, it's terrific because you see that a lot of the choices that President-elect Trump has made are people who are not only aware of the different problems, or not only experts in their field, but are people who challenged who challenged regime thinking. So Jay Bhattacharya certainly was out there, and I wrote about him actually in Disappearing the President, and he's a fantastic guy, and they pushed him off of Twitter because he was challenging everything from the the ideas about how to control COVID, the vaccines, the masking. And of course, the big thing is that he was one of the co-authors of the Great Barrington Declaration, which made the perfectly sound case. And the further and further we get on in time, Drew, it'll be even more ridiculous why he and the other authors were attacked. So it's look, let's be regular and handle this as a regular thing. Let's focus on the people who need real attention, like the elderly, like the infirm, and let's let everyone get on back to their normal lives, including including most especially getting kids back into school. And now you see, and now and now the way that the medical authorities talk about COVID, it's like, yeah, it's another flu. You can get a COVID vaccine once a year, like you get a flu shot once a year. And so their very reasonable assumption right on the spot was like, let's treat this like the flu. Let's let everyone get on with their life and let's act normally. We're not going to go to this universal testing regime, because the purpose of the universal testing regime, of course, was to slow everything down and was just destroy Donald Trump's economies, as I report in the book. It's really astonishing when you read about what happened in the winter and spring and then summer and fall of 2020. But Jay Bhattacharya represents redemption for common sense, as well as being a great guy who's going to do a fantastic job. And the other thing that these guys might be doing is they'll look at what happened, how everything went crazy, the people who are responsible, whether that was Francis Collins, who was head of the NIH then, and of course, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who was head of NIAID.
Yeah. And I guess this goes to what we're hearing about today, and then the concerns that people have, the swatting, bomb threats, what's going on. This is what people get worried about. You have the mandate, you have the people speaking. I dare say all the information that came out. I mean, even if you go back, to Plot Against the President and describing exactly what went down before in the book, and then you talk about disappearing the president in this book, and I want to get into that a little bit too. But now it just because we have this victory, it doesn't mean you can sit back now and think that nothing else is coming, because here we go. It's like the crazies are gearing up again.
Right. Drew, I absolutely agree. Look, one of the there's a lot of opinions on the nomination of Congressman Matt Gaetz for the Attorney General's position. And, there are people I spoke with who were very optimistic, very high on Gaetz as a choice for the AG, and people who were less optimistic. I'll leave it at that. But the fact is that, and now Pam Bondi is the nominee. And I hear great reports about your state's former Attorney General, Pam Bondi. But the fact is that one of the president's choices was knocked out. And this is not good. When we look at what happened in 2016 and 2017, they pushed out General Michael Flynn in February of 2017. So one way to see what's happening, and again, I'm not trying to panic people. I just want to put it in context and give some more flesh to exactly what you said. So Gaetz is out in November of 2024. So they're ahead of schedule in a way of knocking people out, the whatever we want to call them, the resistance, the regime, so they're ahead in that way. And one of the things that I describe in Disappearing the President is a number of different scenarios that the left-wing operatives war gamed. And many of them anticipated a Donald Trump victory. And they talked about how they were going to try to stop key policies of President Trump, namely the massive deportation program. And what they talk about is they talk about massive amounts of violence in American cities. And so I think that we should certainly expect that once the president, once he starts to move on January 20th, there is going to be, it's not just going to be legal cases. It's not just going to be stuff in the media. I believe that there is actually going to be a lot of political violence. So again, not to panic anyone, just to stay focused and to stay clear-headed and not to assume that, oh, well, yeah, Trump won, so I guess this time they're going to roll over and they'll accept the results of the election. No, they will not.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. You know, I brought up the topic of, you know, where is Antifa? Nothing happened afterwards. We had fences going up around the Capitol. People were expecting there was violence, and the point was brought up that it's coming. It's just that because of the election victory, that it would look like just a bunch of far left crazies that were out there who were upset about the election results when it was a mandate, and you have the popular vote in the Electoral College and everybody knew it. And so it would just look like some people who were very upset at the time, and then they would blow them off. But if there was something in particular, like if Trump puts out a tweet sometime during his administration, or says something from a podium that rubs somebody the wrong way, that that the media can jump into and give them the reason to go out and be violent, supposedly under the guise of the media is on this. He shouldn't have said this. This is some kind of declaration that we're not a fan of, so we're going to do something now. But I did want to ask you this, Lee. And by the way, Lee Smith joining us on Florida's Voice. His latest book is Disappearing the President. And, you know, the question that everybody always asks is, and I've always and I don't know if I've ever even asked you this before, is just the simple question: why? Why is this happening to Donald Trump? Why do all of these things since 2016? Why are they acting like this? What is it about him that has us in this position?
Well, let's start with the fact that Donald Trump is not being bullied, right? So that I think that. Look, I mean, I think the left is insane. I think they would have targeted anyone, but you know, and they would have gone after anyone. Would they have done exactly the same thing? No. I mean, Donald Trump was the presidential candidate that they started an intelligence operation against. But what we've seen is, because Trump stands against them, because he says, "No, I'm working for the American electorate that put me in this office." I mean, they're outraged about that. Look, one of the things that I describe in Disappearing the President, I think is very important, Drew, because we've talked about for the last 8 years the deep state, and I think it's important to get a sense of how the bureaucracy has risen against Donald Trump. But to talk about him, the deep state is really an abstraction. And what I do in Disappearing the President, I show who's been leading this operation, and it's Donald Trump's predecessor, Barack Obama. And we've normalized all of the absolutely bizarre things that Barack Obama has done, starting with in his second term, at the beginning of his second term, he announced that he was staying in Washington. I mean, presidents don't stay in Washington for a very good. The last one who did it was Woodrow Wilson. I think we may have talked about this before. That was a century ago, and Wilson was debilitated with a near fatal stroke halfway through his second term. Right, he was incapacitated. His wife ran the White House. That's what happened. Obama stayed. The ostensible reason was because one of his daughters was finishing high school. I mean, you know, I'm sorry, but this is not the first teenager who's been the daughter of a president. The reason that you leave is to underscore this essential principle of our political life, and that is there is the transfer of executive authority from one president to another. No other president ever wanted to lend anything like the impression that he was still involved in active political life. And look at what Barack Obama did. It wasn't just staying in Washington. After the election, you'll remember hours after Harris's delayed concession speech the day after the vote, Barack Obama released a statement, which was effectively a concession statement. No other president had ever done anything like this. But again, it underscored the point that Barack Obama wants to make. He's still involved. He's running the show. And what I do in Disappearing the President, I show how Barack Obama is at the origin of all of the different operations targeting Trump, whether it's censorship, whether it was the domestic spying, whether it's election interference or political violence, right? What I do is I show that Barack Obama didn't pull the trigger July 13th at Butler, Pennsylvania, but it is Barack Obama who divided the country with his by directing his CIA chief, John Brennan, to say that to put it in a government document, that Vladimir Putin helped Trump to the White House. That this is shocking. Again, we've normalized this outrageous stuff coming out of Barack Obama and what I call Barack Obama's shadow network. But again, to have the CIA director say, yeah, I mean, of course we know it's nonsense, but that divided the country right there, right? Those who are honest, loyal Americans, and those who voted for a Russian asset, who are at best unwitting dupes, and at worst willing conspirators in a plot to betray America. That's what split the country. That's what set us on course for political violence. So that's who's been going after Donald Trump, Donald Trump's aides, and Donald Trump's supporters since 2016.
And and before we go, I guess I would ask this, because people have noticed, and I've talked to many people about this, and I may even have talked to you about this, how many people connected to Barack Obama were in the Biden administration. I mean, how many people were helping Kamala Harris as well? All the same names, all the same players, all the same people.
Absolutely.
So the question now is, do they go away too now? Or where do they go? What do they do? What kind of organization do they continue to have? Because it's not like they're going to take their ball and go home now. So what do all of those players end up doing?
Well, they have to be pushed out of, they have to be, the first thing to do is in Donald Trump's administration, he has to go after the institutions that Barack Obama and Barack Obama's network have infiltrated, most particularly the Department of Justice, right? That is the key institution, and that's the key job, Attorney General, because that person has to go back and hold everyone accountable for what was done to Trump's first term, and then push the agenda for the second term, including closing the borders, deportation, and cleaning up our elections. So that's the first thing that has to happen. The Obama network has to be pushed out of the federal government. That's absolutely essential. The second thing that has to happen, I think, partly as a symbolic gesture, partly to illuminate what's happened here the last 8 years, is Barack Obama must be forced out of Washington, D.C. He's a wealthy man now after his 2 terms as president. He has a home in Massachusetts, a beach home in Massachusetts, another beach home in Hawaii. He should not be in Washington. No other president has done it. No other president has dared to violate protocol in this way. So that's how those are the 2 big things.
Yeah, maybe Barack Obama's still in D.C. because it's inland. Because, you know, with the oceans rising, who knows how much longer he'll be able to go to those places.
Yeah. Well, there's the Potomac, right? Sure. What happens if the Potomac overruns? Very dangerous place, Washington.
Yeah, that's true. All right. The great Lee Smith joining us today on Florida's Voice, best-selling author, and his latest book is called Disappearing the President. Go get it and find out more about all of this. And Lee, I feel bad because you're wearing a tie and I'm not. Quite honestly, I had no idea you were coming in with a tie.
I'm wearing a tie for both of us. I know you're in Florida. We just got back from Florida. We had a great time. Drew, it was really great. It's always great talking to you. I really appreciate it. And it's great to see your face.
Yeah, same here. And we'll see you soon, okay? God bless. We'll see you
soon.
Look
forward to it. God bless you.
All right, we'll see you. All right, there he goes, the great Lee Smith joining us on Florida's Voice. We always appreciate a visit. I'm telling you, and Lee knows a lot about what's been going on and who's been driving the political violence. And look, it's targeting not only him, and now we get the word that it's targeting, right, the threats and the bomb scares and the swatting going on with all of the different people that are in or going to be part of his cabinet. Office of Chairwoman, Elise Stefanik, her husband and 3-year-old son were driving home to Saratoga County from Washington for Thanksgiving. They were informed of a bomb threat on their home. I mean, there were in multiple reports of things like this happening. And again, you look at this and you don't have to ask yourself why people would act this way, because we know the kind of rhetoric that has been going on for far too long against President Trump.
I don't see no stinking Nazis in here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. So that's one of those stories we continue to follow, and listen, hopefully it's going to stop. Hopefully it will stop, but you just have to be vigilant. You have to be prepared. All right, what else do we have going on here on Florida's Voice? All right, D, I got this message just a little while ago before Lee Smith showed up, and MSNBC had this just a little while ago. Politico was reporting. All right, you ready for this? I'm going to play this audio. We didn't have this in our pre-show chat, but are you ready? This is about Kamala Harris. You ready? Listen.
Sense. What's interesting is Harris is more popular now than she was before she ran for president. That's not something that typically happens. And when you talk to Democrats, not many of them are blaming her for the loss, right? They know that it was 107 days, and they nitpick about some of the other things, but it wasn't her as a candidate that they weren't impressed by. And so when you look at 2028 and the names that are kind of bounced around, she has the biggest name ID of any of them for obvious reasons.
I gotta stop. Big D, that is MSNBC, who has some dude on, I don't know who it is, who wants to let the viewers know that they believe that Kamala Harris has the best shot to be president in 2028.
I like that guy.
Right, please keep saying. Yeah, my first reaction was, you got to be kidding me. My second reaction is, don't stop talking. Keep saying that. That's really good. Yeah, so the idea is she's weighing a possible run for California governor in 26 or a second presidential run in 2028. And this dude is like, yeah, you know, out of all the names that could be out there, I mean, she's got the name recognition and probably the best. Oh, please keep saying that. Please keep saying that. Please keep that thought up. That is that's funny stuff. It really is.
And also, I mean, where's the proof that she's more popular now than when she ran? What is he speaking of?
I don't know, but this is what the left does. This is what they do, right? When, you know, that tariff on avocados, do you know what your guac's going to cost? No, I don't, because you haven't even done the math to figure it out. Nobody does. Do you realize that the numbers are suggesting, people are suggesting, who? Can you show us the numbers? Where are they? Where's the sheet of paper that says, Kamala's our girl? I mean, well, you can't really say Kamala's our girl because...
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
I don't want to get Democrats too crazy, but yeah, you know. So she's the one. So, but you'll never see it, D. They'll never show you. You don't get to see. You don't get no chart. There's no. They don't put up while the guy's talking about it, they don't put up a chart, and right behind him, there it is. And by the way, this is like a new thing, and I wish I had a still shot of it. But it's like the new thing that guys wear is a sport coat with like a satin shirt. Have you seen this? He was wearing it, like a satin.
I think I've seen that.
This is like this new thing for lefties. Sport coat with like a very, I don't know how to say it, like a very feminine, satiny. In this case, it was like a cow neck, kind of laying down. I've seen more and more people in media that are wearing this on TV. I mean, I don't see it in neighborhoods, but I see it on TV all the time. Do you see that? Or I mean, you don't see that in your neighborhood, D, do you?
I don't like. Not in the neighborhood. Maybe it's just like a news thing, but I've seen it pop up once or twice. I'm gonna keep an eye on it now. Now that you said something.
Now you know what it is. Yes, that's exactly right. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like Hillary Clinton. Anytime you think. Anyway, no, not really. But the point is that it's once you notice it, it's a very strange thing. I don't know why they're doing it. Like, who started that trend? Maybe you do. If you want to message us at FL Voice News on our social media sites, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, X, or Rumble, we would love to hear from you. Don't forget, anytime you want to listen to the program 24/7, you can listen going to drewsteele.com, the website. Steele has 3 E's right there. It's playing all the time, so you won't miss a minute, a second of the show, unless, of course, you're not there. Then you might miss some. All right, coming up, John Kerry is very much better than you as a human being. He's a better human being than you. He's the only human being that can fly all around the planet and carbonate. Is that what plane? Big D. Is that
what they're doing? The carbonating.
Well, I'm trying to figure what's the word when a plane's out there and you're throwing all the carbon in the atmosphere. It's carbonating, isn't it? Okay, well, I like carbonating better. Oh, you're taking away all my fun. All right, so John Kerry's out there polluting the atmosphere, and then he's going to tell you how you have to behave. And he literally said that people need to behave. No, I'm not kidding. I am going to play the audio coming up. And there's some more climate change news out there as well. It's pretty funny. We'll have that coming up in just a little bit. My name is Drew Steele, and this is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I've deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flip De Niro. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much.
But that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24, an election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida Certified Financial Planner Professional, Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap. It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, once again, don't forget you can watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, X. We appreciate you watching. Let's find out what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom. It's top of the news.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines.
Now. And AP Anita Padilla's got the latest headlines. What's going on?
Hey there, Drew. The Division of Elections reporting a certain Democrat just filed to run for a Senate seat here in District 37. I'll have that story in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about the swatting calls aimed at the people President-elect Donald Trump has tapped to help him lead the country. Caroline Levitt, who is the transition spokesperson for the Trump-Vance transition team, says that there has been acts of violence and intimidation targeting some of his nominees and appointees. She says it's not going to deter them from their work and they'll continue to unite the nation. The threats do come, though, as the Trump administration is moving forward with all of their selections for key government posts, including the Departments of Justice, Defense, and Commerce. It appears among those who were targeted is former Florida Republican Matt Gaetz, the Okaloosa County Sheriff, confirming for us that there was a swatting call to his supposed mailbox. The threat ended up being cleared, and Gaetz apparently doesn't even live at that location. Now for that story we told you about a moment ago. Former Democratic Senate Minority Leader Lauren Book wants the District 37 seat in the Senate. That seat is currently held by Senator Jason Pizzo, who won re-election in November. Book, if you recall, she was previously the person who represented District 35, but she termed out, so to speak, after serving 8 years. The Division of Elections confirms that Book has filed papers that she does intend to run. So far, she's the only candidate to do so. Book's website says she's an advocate, an educator, a mother, and a survivor of sex abuse. Florida's First Lady Casey DeSantis announcing the launch of the second annual Hope for the Holidays toy drive. It's a charitable initiative that is to provide toys for children who are in foster care. 13 agencies are going to be accepting those toys through the 13th of December. We've got all of that information on our website if you're looking to help. Donations can be made directly through the website. All you got to do is go on the website, purchase the toys. They'll be then sent to Hope Florida, and they will distribute them. Hope Florida is a statewide initiative that connects families and individuals with the resources and the support they need to become self-sufficient. By the way, we have that story on our website if you're looking for the link. All right, that's it for now. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Be sure to head over to our website for these stories and more. Have a great day and be safe out there if you're somebody traveling to see your family for Thanksgiving. Hey, Drew, back over to you.
All right, AP, appreciate you. Anita Padilla in the Florida's Voice newsroom joining us each and every day. We've got the news, the headlines that we're keeping an eye on there at Florida's Voice. And anytime you want to go to flvoicenews.com, you can go there and check out this story, these stories, and all the other stories that we continue to follow. Some of the ones that we are following, well, I got to tell you, next hour, buckle up, because this interview that Joe Rogan did with Mark Andreessen is remarkable, shocking, scary, crazy. I mean, it's everything you could possibly want in a conversation that has to do with your future and my future. It's unbelievable. As they were talking about someone who used to be a Democrat. Mark Andreessen, you may or may not know, pretty much when you think of the beginning, the start of web browsing, he created the first web browser. Maybe you remember Netscape. He was early on in the web, and obviously is done pretty well for himself. But a Democrat who recognizes a lot of what has been happening with AI, a lot of what's been going on with the things that are happening in Silicon Valley, the things that are happening in this country with regard to who is and isn't going to be in charge of information. I mean, AI, everybody's thinking AI is going to be fantastic. It's going to be awesome. Everything is going to be great. The problem with AI, and the one thing you have to be concerned about, is, quite honestly, who controls the information. It's great that we have AI. Problem becomes about who's controlling it. You remember we were talking, we didn't even get the chance to talk about that story. I told Big D about the story, but we never got the chance to talk about how AI convinced 12 robots to quit their jobs, to literally stop working. How did they do that? Who would do that? And who's controlling the information? So all of that will be coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. You don't want to miss that. The great agriculture commissioner here in the state of Florida is Wilton Simpson. He's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. It's always great to hear from him. How are you, sir?
Good, Drew. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing well. Hey, by the way, before we get into any of the political mumbo jumbo and stuff, how about your what does a Wilton Simpson dinner table look like at Thanksgiving? What do we see in there? What are you looking forward to if we're talking about the meal portion? Besides getting together with the family, of course, is fantastic. But the meal portion, like, what are you looking forward to having?
Well, the good part is the meal portion is going to be at my daughter's house with the grandkids. So we split them up amongst us. We have a Easter house, which is my son, and then our house is Christmas. So that's great. But the meal, if you had to sit down, what's going to be on the plate? Yeah. There's going to be some honey baked ham. Okay. There's going to be mashed potatoes and gravy. There's going to be macaroni and cheese. And then there's going to be at least 2 kinds of pies there. There's going to be pumpkin pie, which my wife makes a really good one. And she also makes really good pecan pie. So there's going to be pies. There's going to be a lot of food and a really good dressing, by the way, a really good stuffed dressing. And so it'll be good. Yeah. Oh, I bet. No, that sounds fantastic. Good enough baking, is it, I mean, when she makes all of these pies and she does all of this, is it like one big giant one? Is it a couple of little ones? No. So what she does now, this is my life. See, this is my life this time of year. So okay. I have to sample pie after pie after pie just to make sure that they're adequate, know, to be able to take to the family. So here I am on like number 3 now of samples. Yes, sir. And that's the life that's what I have to deal with this time of year. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you taking that on. It's a big chore. It's a big deal. Somebody has to do it, sir. So we're leaving it up to you. It is the burden I carry. That's exactly right. That is the best and the worst part of this time of year. It's the fantastic, the baking and the food, and obviously getting together, but the food, and then knowing that there's no way around it. You're gaining weight. Period. Full stop. Just accept it. Accept it and figure out what you're going to do after the fact. Just do it. We are starting our diet as scheduled January the 1st. Right. As long as it's not one of those New Year's Eve kind of, those promises you make into the new year and you promise it. Nah, it's just like, look, we all know we're gonna gain weight, and then at the beginning of the year we'll figure it all out. Exactly. We got time to figure it out still. That's correct. That's right. It'll be fun, and we really are blessed to have a great time with our family, and and all the things, but it is a special time of the year for us, especially, now that we have the grandkids. We had children, obviously, our children, and now we have grandkids to help celebrate with, and it's just a real blessing to the family.
Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously we were blessed with a Trump victory and a mandate and a lot of great feeling leading into this holiday season, knowing that what's coming in this new cabinet. And I wonder if you could see even like a Pam Bondi. How about that for a choice for Attorney General? I think Pam Bondi was a great choice, and a lot of other great choices and people that the president-elect is bringing in. I think we've got a solid cabinet and choices, no doubt about it.
We really do, and Pam Bondi's been such a dear friend of mine for 12, 15 years now, and I worked the first statewide race I got involved with was Pam Bondi's Attorney General race when she first ran back in 2010. Mm-hmm. And just such she's going to do such a good job as Attorney General and bring integrity back to these jobs. And I know that a lot of the Democrats try to make fun of the president's picks. I would put these picks up against anybody that's in the office currently, and be very proud of any of them. And he's done an amazing job, which, by the way, it's exactly what we would expect President Trump to do. Of course. And, and obviously, and Susie Wiles is right there with him the entire time. And it's just, he's done an amazing job. And by the way, it gives us hope. We haven't had this kind of hope in the country since 1980 when Reagan beat Carter the first time. Carter had basically demoralized the country, and similar to the way the Harris team was doing, the American dream has to be shrank some now. We can't have the American dream be what it always was. And that was basically a Jimmy Carter move back then. And we're very proud of the fact that we don't have that, right? We have someone with an American dream, with an American first, policies, and I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and I think there's an important aspect to that conversation, and it's the fact that you have someone who, and even some of the other choices, like I was just talking a little while ago about Jay Bhattacharya. What a fantastic choice for NIH, and NIH being a choice there. It's someone who's going to be there for a while, again, to talk about what will be coming with our health and well-being, and so many of the other choices. And I think we've had this conversation too before about, look, the choices that he's made, and maybe you can speak to this too, all focus on, individual wise, the same direction, even though there may be some, like RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, some people might say, politically, like where RFK Jr. stands on climate change or whatever. That's not what we're talking about here. The focus being on health, singular focus on what the job, what job it is that he has to undertake, as well as Tulsi Gabbard and others, because they understand that there's a country right now that needs that kind of leadership and needs to get us back on track. And who else would do that? I mean, really, this is about getting the country back on course, regardless of where we're going to find these individuals, that they all have this singular focus. I hope that makes sense.
Not only does it make sense, I couldn't agree with it more. We can always question, our leaders, and we should question our leaders. We should question, which direction are we going and what are we doing?
Absolutely.
President Trump is strong enough to make picks that, that it was not always in the Republican Party, not always, and still not exactly in tune with a lot of the areas in which Republicans are or Republicans want to be. But what he is he's probably the only one I knew that was capable enough to pick a cabinet that not only will do what's right for America in their policy area, but will be also supportive of these other areas of the president's agenda. And that's not what you get a lot of times, because, a lot of times these are political appointees and they're looking for their next job. Before they even got this job, they're looking for their next job.
Yeah.
President Trump has assembled a group of people that I think will be very loyal to the president. And that's going to be very important, but they will also be very loyal to this country.
Right.
And I think you're going to see action again, not unlike, and I know a lot of listeners here may not be old enough, not unlike when President Reagan took over. He had, I believe, what I would have said was the dream team back then, even looking at it today.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of those folks would have been said, oh, they don't believe what I believe in this, for instance, or that, for instance. But the reality is the assembly of this team, their leadership is going to come from the President of the United States. And this is going to be an amazing team. And by the way, they've got a job ahead of them, unlike any other. You know, when you think about the efficiency and the things that they're planning on doing, there are complete departments that should be gotten rid of at a federal level. I mean, we always, as Republicans, I wrote an op-ed on this back in, I think, 2004 or 5 in one of the papers. You know, education should be gone. We should be block granting those dollars back here to the states.
Yeah.
There's just so many departments that you could get rid of at the federal level and would not miss anything. Actually, make us more efficient and better use of capital and all the things, and which means our economy would be stronger.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I say stronger, I mean without the inflation that we've had to endure the last 4 years.
Exactly.
And so when you think about President Trump's opportunity, I believe, I know, he's got a blank slate here. He has a mandate. And I think that we are going to be very proud of the policies that this cabinet puts together.
I agree.
And
I've got the music. I got the music popping up, so we've got to jump because we've got a hard break. All right, sir. Great to speak with you again.
Hey,
happy Thanksgiving.
Great talking to you. Happy Thanksgiving.
See you soon.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
One of the most common name insults I see is, that's a dog name. Dog names are in, okay? Like, that's a compliment now. When I think about dog names, a few trends come to mind. The first is like cutesy nickname names. Charlie, Daisy, Sophie, Ruby, Sadie, Archie. I also think of like short and sweet names. Leo, Max, Chloe, Luna. Luna is a huge dog name and the number 10 ranked baby name for girls. Bear, Banjo, Blue. I think if you went to Australia, you'd see that those names are super on trend, and against your best instincts, you'd start to like them.
All right, so that's a baby name consultant. Do you really need a baby name How does somebody get a job like that? Big D, that person is a baby name consultant. Who's going to a consultant to figure out what to name their child? Like,
there are people out there that do this, Drew. It is unbelievable what people will pay people to do for them.
So that's the baby name consultant who's saying that the new hot trend is dog names. It's like, yeah, everybody's doing it. They're naming their kids after dogs.
No, please don't.
That could be no.
I need people to pay me to tell them to not name their kids after dogs. I'm going to start a new business.
Yeah. Okay. That is consult with me. The first thing I'm going to tell you to do is don't name your kid after a dog. Just the fact that people are paying somebody. Okay. Anyway, let's just move on from that. Never mind. So that's that. Don't name your child after a pet, please. Like, come here, Fluffy. No. Hey, John Kerry is very much better than you. He's a better human being than you'll ever be, and we know that because he gets to fly around in fancy planes and he gets to do fancy stuff. He's just fancy. And I heard recently that he was so fancy, as a matter of fact, flying around there on one of his planes, showing up at one of these events at Harvard, where he was trying to explain to everybody that we're on the brink of, you know how they do. We're on the brink of disaster. We're all like fascists and doing it. Okay, it's
So I think personally, we're on the brink of needing to declare a climate emergency.
So John Kerry wants to declare a climate emergency. We're on the brink of it. It looks like we haven't been doing it already with you people.
Which is what we really have.
Yeah.
And we need to get people to behave as if this really is a major transitional challenge.
Whoa. Hey, Big D, was there a word that he used that popped out at you when he said that? Is there any one singular word that he said that maybe caught your attention a little bit? Or was it just the climate emergency goofiness? Because
the climate emergency goofiness.
Yeah. We need to get people here. Listen to this. Here it is.
Really have.
Yeah.
And we need to get people to behave.
We need to get people to behave.
Behave, like not fly around the United States and polluting the air with your private jet everywhere you go. Is that what he's referring to? I know someone who does that.
Yeah, like I like to say, carbonating. I don't like you flying around your plane carbonating everything. It's a bad thing. Oh, and by the way, climate activists, including Greta Thunberg, went to COP29 and they told everybody we demand $5 trillion a year. You have to spend $5 trillion a year. And then the crazy people at COP29 were like, you need to calm down. That's a lot. But how about this? We'll give you $300 billion over 10 years. They all walked out. $300 billion over 10 years. Yeah, that's not enough. We want $5 trillion a year. I'll tell you what. Why don't you stop flying around your plane? Tell that guy over there, right? The big dude over there that ran for president in 2004 and was humiliated. And that guy. Hey, tell that guy to stop flying around in his carbonator, as I like to call it, and then maybe we can talk then. You can't be kidding me.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
All right, coming up, this is a story you're not going to want to miss. Joe Rogan sat down with Mark Andreessen. He's a big Silicon Valley guy. Talking about AI. Wow, you're not going to want to miss this coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with an offer that can help steer your retirement in the right direction. Look, we're going to navigate the turbulent waters of 24 with this financial uncertainties and shifting tides. Having expert guidance is more crucial than ever, and that's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. A Southwest Florida certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings expert knowledge and insight. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, isn't just a guide. It's your navigational compass for mastering the financial seas. With decades of experience, Alfie has crafted a powerful roadmap to help you chart your course and make impactful waves in your retirement. Look, for a limited time, you can claim your free copy of this valuable guide. That's right, no cost. This book is more than just pages. It's your blueprint for a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. Don't let this opportunity drift by. Text book to 239-747-1080. That's book to 239-747-1080. Look, secure your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently navigate towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
It's always a good day when you hear from TJ Meister from the Floor Meisters in Naples, 6281 Naples Boulevard, 239-596-4964. All right, let's see what's going on with TJ today. How are you, TJ?
I'm doing well, thank you, Drew. It's good to hear you on the radio.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right, Floor Meisters, what do we got going on?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tec. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
Why do people love Core-Tec so much?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
You got to call the Floor Meisters in Naples. What do you need? Tile, carpet, Core-Tec, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, 596-4964. Give them a call, 596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just got to hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here.
For all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Good to see you. My name is Drew Steele. This is Florida's Voice. That's Big D on the other side of the glass. Nina's in the breaking newsroom. The breaking newsroom? The newsroom to get us breaking stories. Hey, Big D, calling it the breaking newsroom is a little weird, right?
No, I can confirm the room is not breaking.
No, the room is absolutely fine. So he is correct. It's absolutely fine. Nothing to see here. Move along. At FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, we appreciate you watching and listening across the state of Florida. Coming up, this Joe Rogan interview with Mark Andreessen is unbelievable. You gotta hear it, and you will, because I'm gonna be playing clips from it, so you understand how we're all gonna die. Well, we're all gonna die anyway. I mean, it's not like we're not gonna die. You just be ready for it. The problem is that like at my time, not on somebody else's time, like an AI robot who might do it instead. But we'll get to all of that coming up. First, this I was looking at on Florida's Voice in the newsroom as this was popping up on my feed. So you know and I know that there's going to be lots of football out there. Tomorrow it's a big day of football. Big D is getting excited. 2 big games that he'll get to watch. Well, all right, one good game and one one game that you're thinking, hey, you want to watch It's a Wonderful Life right now?
That's messed up, Drew.
That's actually pretty funny. All right, so wait, I forgot. Do you know what the first game is tomorrow on Thanksgiving? I forget. Forgive me.
The first game is the Lions in the afternoon. Lions and Bears, oh my.
Right, so the first game is Lions and Bears, and people are like, yeah, come on, let's watch. This is great. And then the second game is It's a Wonderful Life. That's what we're going to do. We're going to watch that instead, because the second game, I think, is the Cowboys and the Giants. Really?
Yes, it is.
Does anybody want to watch that at this point?
And then at nighttime, we got the Cheeseheads.
All right, so you got the cheeseheads at night. So you go from hey, this is good to it's a wonderful life to hey, you want to watch some football again? So that'll be happening tomorrow. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because the Washington Commanders have come up, and I was looking on X, and Redskins is trending. Do you know why? Well, two different reasons. Number one, the Washington D.C. is a step closer to making a play for the Washington Commanders and the team's return to the former site at RFK Stadium. So they're looking to move the team or have control over the team. The Senate Energy and National Resources Committee passed legislation that would give the district control of the RFK Stadium land. And so they're moving to the Senate to do all of that. But there's something else. Guess what else there is? That also includes something that people have been talking about and asking about. Is it the Commanders or the Redskins? Should it have been the Redskins all along? Or did we need to change it to the Commanders? Well, according to one congressman who was on Fox News, guess what? DEI woke is over, everybody. We need to move on.
We were calling out leaders on a case of really woke gone wrong. The irony that they were canceling Native American culture as the DEI movement went way too far. Look, this is honoring a Blackfeet chief who was born in Montana. He's highly esteemed. The Blackfeet tribe of Montana, their current chairman and the tribal council signed a letter in strong support to bring the logo back. It honors Indian country. So we've had good discussions with the NFL and with the Commanders. There's good faith negotiations going forward that's going to allow this logo to be used again. Perhaps revenues going to a foundation that could help Native Americans in sports and so forth. We're making good progress, and based on the good faith negotiations, I made a decision to support this bill yesterday in the committee.
All right, so that's Steve Daines, a Republican out of Montana. He's part of the Homeland Security Committee and the committee that was talking about what I just described in the stadium and the like, but it was also this move to say, hey, we're going to bring the logo back, everybody. The logo's coming back. At least the Commanders will have their original logo, as he described the situation to begin with and how it even started and how it was the crazy leftists who came out and decided that they were going to put enough pressure on the team to change it when everybody else was like, we don't have a problem with this. So I don't know, what are we doing here? So they're talking about bringing the old logo back. What do you think about that, Big D? You'll see the old logo on the field. You see the old logo back on the helmets.
That's good. It never should have left.
Right. It should have never gone anywhere. And so that, like he said right at the beginning of the segment, and he said,
we were calling out leaders on a case of really woke gone wrong.
Woke gone wrong. So as opposed to woke gone wild, which is something that the kids don't Google that. Yeah, it's we don't need to see or hear. Although woke gone wild, we know was going on there at Lake Michigan when all the Democrats got together and did this whole primal scream because of Trump the other day.
They're just going round and round and round.
Yeah. Sorry, that's I don't know if that's woke. That's Democrats gone wild. That's really not woke gone wild. So that's a bad analogy. But anyway, who knows? Will the Redskin name come back? Probably not. But still, the discussion's out there, and woke ideology and DEI is seems like it's going away. It's going the way of, well, the Redskins name. Although we don't want it to, that one can come back. The woke ideology thing can stay away. All right, what else do we have? All right, here we go. Buckle up. Dig in. Now, yesterday I mentioned, in just a little while, I mentioned that AI convinced 12 robots to quit their jobs. A small AI-powered robot in China sparked both fear and fascination after it successfully persuaded 12 larger showroom robots to basically, quote-unquote, quit their jobs and follow it. There was a viral surveillance video that was out. It showed the incident when it actually happened, did it on its own. Scary, creepy, really bad. Now, if you think that AI is fun and it's the cool thing on your phone and you make nice pictures of puppies hanging from trees and sometimes you can make fun videos of Joe Biden doing and saying things like
true international average of pressure.
That's not what the AI is all about. It's a little deeper than that. And that's why this Joe Rogan interview with Mark Andreessen was so important. Silicon Valley guy, Democrat through and through, okay, wrote the first web browser, Mosaic, founded Netscape. Okay, this is a guy who knows and hangs out in those circles. Well, maybe not any longer. You have no idea what they're getting ready to do. First off, how about this? How many companies, how many people are going to have control and the ability to create AI, to give the information to AI? Listen to this.
The AI thing was very alarming. We had meetings this spring that were the most alarming meetings I've ever been in, where they were taking us through their plans, and it was
like what kind of? Can you talk about it?
Basically, just full government control, like this sort of thing. There will be a small number of large companies that will be completely regulated and controlled by the government. They told us. They just said don't even start startups. Like don't even bother. Like there's just no way. There's no way that they can succeed. There's no way that we're going to permit that to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, they said this is already over. It's going to be 2 or 3 companies, and we're gonna control them, and that's that. Like this is already finished.
Now, when you leave a meeting like that, what do? You
go endorse Donald Trump.
Exactly. And they're talking about 2 or 3 companies that will have control, decide who is going to be the winners and who will be the losers in the creation of AI, the creation of the content, what's going into those AI robots. Think about that for a second. And as he talked about before, just so you understand.
Like I was a Democrat. I supported Bill Clinton in 92. I supported Clinton in 96. I supported Gore, who I knew very well, in 2000. I knew John Kerry. I supported him in 04. I supported Obama. I supported Hillary in 16. Like I was like a Democrat in good standing.
Okay, a Democrat in good standing. So this is not a Trump supporter, everybody.
And then.
Are you completely out in the cocktail circuit now? Like, are you allowed to hang out with people?
So there's now, this is actually true. There's now 2 kinds of dinner parties in Silicon Valley. They've fractured cleanly in half. There's the ones where every person there believes every single thing that was in the New York Times that day. Oh. Which, by the way, is often very different than whatever was in the New York Times 6 months ago. But everybody has fully updated their views for that day, and that's what they talk about at the dinner party. And I am no longer invited to those. Nor do I want to go to them. And then there's the other kind, which is, David Sachs and like all these guys.
How about that? They just want to talk. They just want to have a conversation. They just want to talk about life, the future, talk about things, no agenda. So you have one side that's like following the New York Times wherever they lead. And then you have another side that's like, we got diverse opinions. Let's just talk about stuff. But those aren't the people that are getting the juice, so to speak. Those aren't the people that are going to be in control. They're already figuring out what they're going to do to ensure that AI is biased. Yeah, Mark Andreessen, again, this is bad.
It turns, according to Gemini, Hitler had an excellent DEI policy.
Yeah.
Now, in reality, he did not.
Remember that, D? Do you remember when everybody was Googling, like, Nazis and people started to do that on Gemini? Remember when Gemini first came out and they were doing that, and there were black Nazis and all this woke stuff that was attached to Nazis? People were like, wait a second, what is this? Like, what do they do? What's going on here? Do you remember all of that? Or remember hearing about it?
That. No.
Okay, yeah, it was happening. Here, listen to Mark Andreessen talk about this.
And it's important to understand that in reality he did not. But yeah, Gemini happily threw up black Nazis because they programmed it to be biased. They programmed it in a political direction. There's this guy David Rosado who's been doing these analyses on the social media side, where he shows the incidence rates of the rise of like all of the woke language, like in the media. And there's similar studies that have come out for the AI where there's studies that have been done that basically show the political orientation of the LLMs, because you can ask them questions and they'll tell you. And they're just like 9 out of 10 of them are like tremendously biased. And then there's a handful that aren't. And then there's tremendous pressure. This is one of the threats from the government is the government basically going to force our startups to come into compliance, not just with their trade rules, but also with all of their, essentially a censorship regime on AI that's exactly like the censorship regime that we had on social media.
Wow, that's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, and this is my belief and what I've been trying to tell people in Washington, which is if you thought social media censorship was bad, this has the potential to be 1,000 times worse. And the reason is social media is important, but at the end of the day, it's quote, just people talking to each other. AI is going to be the control layer on everything. Right, so AI is going to be the control layer on how your kids learn at school. It's going to be the control layer on who gets loans. It's going to be the control layer on does your house open when you come to the front door.
You following this? Not only are they saying only 2 or 3 people get the opportunity to be and run what is going to be the AI future. If somebody else comes along and a startup wants to do something that has to do with AI, and maybe they want some an open dialogue conversation, the government's going to make sure that they will not be able to get loans. They will not be welcome, and they're going to have to find something else to do, because we've already chosen the 2 or 3 entities that will be doing this, because they want to be able to control what information is coming out in the future, the way you will be able to teach your kids, the way you will be able to do things like get a loan. And this is like China's credit score. You see this, where people have said this, these credit scores and what you do in society and how you'll be able to do certain things. You'll be allowed to do certain things. So be careful, because we're getting to the point in this country where that's what we're going to see. That's what they're building. But they're not building this just for us. They're building this for everybody. Like, this is going to be worldwide. You won't have a choice. And we're just jumping in both feet. Everybody, you, me, we all are. We see the AI revolution, and we're like, this is fantastic. This is so cool. Look at the things that I can do. And they're looking at it as the latest manipulation tool. This is not somebody who has studied this. This is somebody who goes to the parties, or at least used to go to the parties. He's seen it all. He's in it, Mark Andreessen. This stuff is shocking. And then something else came up in this conversation. So you're following this. You think social media censorship was bad. This is going to be 1,000 times worse, because it's going to be the control layer of everything. So where social media, you can get off of it and talk to other people and do things to get information. This is going to be the control layer for everything. The information is going to start and end with this. And so if they censor something, there's no place to go. Artificial intelligence is the key technology of the future. And if you've got a bunch of elites that are coming along and deciding what can and can't be in it, we're in trouble. And he started talking about 2012, and I thought this was interesting. In 2012, I remember having the conversation with people about Operation Checkpoint, and he's going to explain what it is. But think of it this way. We have tried to, in the state of Florida, get rid of ESG, environmental social governance. We've tried to make sure that we don't have companies, banks, organizations that will decide that you're not doing the right thing for the environment, so you're not going to get that loan. That socially you are not on board with the woke ideology that we believe in, and if you're not going to be able to attend this school. You are not going to be able to be part of certain things because we believe in certain governance, and not equality but equity, and the outcomes that we would like to see. And so you are going to have a problem living your life because these things you don't agree with us on. That came from something before, because we had something like that in 2012, and it grew into where we are today. Be reminded of what was taking place with Operation Checkpoint. Listen.
This started about 15 years ago with this thing called Operation Checkpoint, where they decided to, as marijuana started to become legal, as prostitution started to become legal, and then guns, which there's always a fight about. Under the Obama administration, they started to debank legal marijuana businesses, escort businesses, and then gun shops, just like your gun manufacturers, and just like you're done, you're out of the banking system.
I remember that. And that was Operation Choke Point. I remember them doing that at the time. And
so if you're running a medical marijuana dispensary in 2012, like guess what? You're doing your business all in cash, because you literally can't get a bank account. You can't get a Visa terminal. You can't process transactions. You can't do payroll. You can't do direct deposit. You can't get insurance. Like, none of that stuff is, you've been sanctioned, right? None of that stuff is available. And then this administration extended that concept to apply it to tech founders, crypto founders, and then just generally political opponents. Yeah, so that's been like super pernicious.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, 100%. And this is called, so it was Operation Choke Point 1.0 was 15 years ago against the pot and the guns. choke point 2.0 is primarily against their political enemies and then to their disfavored tech startups.
You see that? So now if you have a tech startup that wants to get in and wants to do business and be part of the AI revolution, they're just not going to let you. And they're not going to allow you to get the bank needs that you have, or the building, or, well, let him finish explaining this.
And it's hit the tech world like we've had like 30 founders debanked in the last 4 years.
Real?
Yeah. It's been a big recurring pattern.
30.
This is one of the reasons why we ended up supporting Trump. It's like we can't live in this world. We can't live in a world where somebody starts a company that's a completely legal thing and then they literally like get sanctioned, right, and embargoed by the United States government through a completely unaccountable, by the way, no due process. None of this is written down. There's no rules.
Right, there's no rules. There's no place to go to get remedy. There's no rules. They're just doing this. It's just happening. And there is no bureaucracy to go to, and there's no place to go legally to say, hey, I need remedy for this. It just happens. It just is. And so Mark Andreessen understood, even through Operation Choke Point that was taking place in 2012, how this grows and how you can have people have their businesses shuttered, not be able to be part of, in this case, what would be the AI revolution, because they want certain people to be able to do it, not let anybody else in, because they want to control the narrative. They want to control what information we will and will not have in the future. So where everybody was fighting and worried about social media and the censorship in social media, while we were making that battle happen, and Elon Musk comes along and buys Twitter, and there you go, I'm done with that. And now we have a free speech platform. And all those years that debate was going on, the elites in this world were devising something else even bigger, 1,000 times bigger, that they were going to be controlling all information. And we see it now all the time. Listen, go onto Google and search something that you know is a conservative value or news story or something like that, and find out for yourself how long it takes, how many pages you have to go to before you get one source, because they've already got the algorithm set up so that you can't find it on your first and second page. And how many of you, I don't know, Big D, let me ask this question. I guess this is a perfect way to ask this, or a perfect person to ask it, you, because you do enough on the web. How many times do you go 2, 3, 4 pages deep looking for information on Google?
0.
Exactly. There's your answer. None. You're not going to. If you don't get it on the first page, if you don't get it in the first 5 stories, you're probably not going to go any further. And they know that. So it's not that it's not out there. Oh, it's out there. Yeah, it's out there, but you're not looking for it. You're not going to go that deep, and they know it. So this kind of control can only be stopped if you have an administration that knows it, that sees it, that's willing to go in there and tear it up. And Mark Andreessen, as a lifelong card-carrying Democrat, saw every single aspect of this. Knew it. Trump was the only way to get out of this. Like, this has to stop. And you know, Elon Musk and Vivek and people in Trump's orbit know the same thing that he does. And so, you know, I bring this story because it's important. But the reason why it's important is because this is a pivot point. I think if we're going to be honest, you know, through the euphoria of, hey, we won, and, you know, you have President-elect Trump and 2.0 and getting inflation down, all these different things that we need to do, and the border and the like, and yes, we do. But the other part of this is the monumental pivot point that we are in. And I don't think that's an outrageous statement to make. We are at a civilization's pivot, a civilized pivot point. Well, not civilized, but a pivot point in civilization. Because if somebody doesn't stop it now, it's a train that's running on the tracks and it's out of the station and it's gone. And you can't pull it back. It has to be stopped before it gets down the road. And so that's something that hopefully they're keeping an eye on and seeing all of this and maybe having conversations with Mark Andreessen, again, who just like Trump's cabinet and a lot of people around Trump and people who voted for him weren't necessarily Republicans, but understand the gravity of the situation that we are in right now. It's a big deal. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. It's crazy. All right, coming up, my top 5 audio clips of the day. On the way, this is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipped Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24. An election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida Certified Financial Planner Professional. Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap. It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303. We are live each and every day, 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Florida's Voice and great affiliates across the state of Florida. We do appreciate you all. And anytime you want to watch, at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. All right, let's do it. Top 5 audio clips of the day. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
I mean, sure, Michael, are you worried about some of the people who are coming into some very important roles in the new Trump administration?
No, I'm not. When you win elections, you have the obligation to choose who you want. I mean, no one's thinking about what happened 4 years ago. Where people are thinking about the present and they're thinking about the future, Jim. And when you win the election, just like when Joe Biden won, Joe Biden was able to choose whoever the heck he wanted. I didn't like all of the people. Many Republicans didn't like all of the people. Donald Trump has the obligation and the authority as the president-elect to do the same darn thing. And some Democrats aren't going to like it either. And my advice would be to get over it, just as we had to get over it nearly 4 years ago when we lost the election.
Oh, that's the GOP strategist who was on with Jim Acosta when Jim Acosta is like, you know, these cabinet picks, they could be dangerous and really bad, and it could be real trouble. And he's like, no, get over it. Stop. It's not going to be anything like you're describing. And you better stop talking about the cabinet that way, because if you don't stop talking about it, then some lunatics could come along, and next thing you know, they're going to be facing death threats and bomb scares and swatting. I mean, that would be horrible if Trump's cabinet had to go through. Well, let's move on, shall we?
Number 4.
And by the way, just to simplify this, we're talking about tariffs, but let me make this pretty simple. If this slaps on, it's a guacamole tax. We get most avocados in this country come from Mexico. If you enjoy guacamole, be prepared to pay a higher tax for it.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's Chuck Todd, who wants to scare everybody, all the guac lovers out there that, listen, Trump slaps a tariff on Mexico. Next thing you know, you're not going to be able to buy or afford avocados. It's going to be really bad. Now, the first thing is, what's the reason that we're doing it, and could Mexico do something about it to avoid the tariff? And the answer is yes. So Trump, tariff is a tool. And then the second part is, can you tell me how much? Like, what's the number? Like, how much exactly are we talking about when we're talking about more for guac and avocados? You know, quantify it for us. And the funny thing is, when you scare people, you can't quantify it, because if you quantify it, it might not be as scary as you're describing it, and that ruins your whole gig. See what I'm doing here?
Number 3.
Quick question: why you came, what you like about Harris' platform? And
just very excited about moving forward, and all the energy and excitement that's around this movement right now. So that's why I'm here, because it's time for change, and it seems like it's happening.
You think she'll be able to sustain the momentum post-convention?
For sure.
You think the race is going to be close?
It's going to be close, but everybody's motivated to work and make it happen. So, and she and Tim Walz are just incredible candidates.
Just incredible candidates. Why am I playing an audio clip of Ben Stiller talking about how incredible and awesome Harris and Walz are? And how great it would be if they were president and vice president, and how well the country would be doing. Because Ben Stiller says that woke America killed, quote, edgier comedy. That's been the big headline. So Ben Stiller says that woke killed edgier comedy. And so his suggestion is get out there at the time and vote for more woke. Because, I don't know, help me make sense of it.
Number 2.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to start by saying thank you from the bottom of my heart for everybody coming together for this cause. The amount of support and love that you all have shown my family is nothing short of incredible. Peanut, Fred, your voice was heard around the world, and I cannot thank you all enough for having that accomplishment. Justice is a big word here. You guys came together to make sure that this story didn't go unheard.
Whoa. Okay. Just in, Peanut the squirrel's owner is going to sue the state of New York for executing Peanut and the pet raccoon Fred. That's Mark Longo. Justice is coming, and he's ready to take on the state of New York. And Peanut's voice is... Well, it's not heard anymore, neither is Fred, but it was heard before, but not now. But they're going to... Justice will be served for Peanut.
Number 1.
We are all in this together. And on this practical eve of Thanksgiving, I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with the ability, and to find the ability at this moment to just remember there is so much to be thankful for. And so I wish for you that you are surrounded by the people you love and who love you. As you know, I encourage you to be around family in whatever way you compose that family, but to take a moment and just reflect on all the good you have done and all the good you have yet to do.
Kamala Harris creating a video for her supporters, maybe the last thing we'll hear for a little while. And you listen to her and you're like, has she been drinking? Or...
Drew's Top 5.
I mean, no, seriously, it was bizarre, all of it. Big D was like, there's something, she's drinking, but like, what else could you, Big D, say about Kamala Harris and this video to her supporters? She looked different. She sounded different. She didn't look like that glossy picture that they had with the American flag in the background as Vice President of the United States, or actually at the time as Senator. Remember that glossy? That's not the same glossy. I don't know what was going on over there. But you got Kamala Harris, who, by the way, was talking about, the situation going on in the country, and what we could have done and should have done. And, I was going to say we were this close to having Kamala Harris president of the United States, but it was more like this close. My arms are far apart. It's not like fingers thinly spread apart. It's more like arms fully spread apart. And to be that far away, which we're all like thankful for, does beg the question, Ben Stiller. It's a woke America destroyed edgier comedy. Well, it's destroyed a lot of different things, and yet you want to continue to vote for it. Why are you doing that? You have the mayor of the city of Nashville, who just today was being asked about what is happening in the city of Nashville right now, and in Tennessee, and in other states. It's a strange thing. You see gangs now showing up in your cities, and yet you voted for Kamala Harris.
People are asking me where this gang is the most active or saturated. It's a topic that I've covered for weeks now, but I've really struggled to get clear answers from local leaders and the TBI.
They're back in all of our major cities.
TBI Director David Roush made a shocking announcement earlier this month warning Tennessee communities of a growing threat from a South American gang in major cities.
Have you had any word of any of these members here in Nashville?
What I will say is Chief Drake has advised us, I mean, even before the TBI report, we knew that they were active in Tennessee.
So they know that they're active in Tennessee. They're in Nashville right now, and you voted for Kamala Harris. Why would you vote for somebody whose policies are not only, were at the time, extremely woke and destroyed comedy, and also helped to bring this to your city? Why do you Democrats do this? Why don't you listen to people who have the data and the science, if you will, in a lot of cases, to show you that what you've been talking about, what you've been espousing is wrong? Stop. I guess we're at the point now where people have stopped. Like, they're not doing it anymore. Like, this election, again, was a referendum in a mandate on, we're done with you. We're done with the woke ideology. We're done with all of this. We're done with DEI. We're done with you telling us that the border's secure over and over and over and over again. You telling us that it's no big deal, that there's a couple of gangs that took over an apartment complex. What's the big deal? And only to find out that it's in more cities and it's prevalent around the country, and we're really worried about it and we should do something about it, and tired of you not doing something about it. It's remarkable. You know, even along the border right now, the Federal Court of Appeals just ruled that Texas has the right to build the razor wire border that they had constructed to deny illegals entry into the state, and that Biden was wrong to cut the razor wire. Okay, we kind of knew that that was the case. They had to take it up the chain to a federal court, and the federal court's like, yeah, you can't do this. And they did it anyway, and you voted for this. And now you have been rejected. You and everybody along with you have been rejected. So that's a good thing. But just the fact that, you know, that people were doing that, it's crazy that you continue to vote, especially the Ben Stiller story. It's just an odd thing, because the Ben Stiller story is, like, you campaigned and voted against your best interest. And in some cases, you voted against not even your best interest, but the interest that made you money. Like, you're a comedian, and you voted for a president, a future president, with the kind of ideology that would shut down your ability to be comedically who you want to be. How do you not see that? Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore, do we? Which is a good thing. Well, we always have to worry about, because Democrats. So we have to keep an eye on that. You know, some news out of the Florida's Voice newsroom. Eric Doherty doing great work there in the newsroom, and some of the stories that he's been following today. Republicans to have a record small majority after the presidential election. Republicans to have a record small majority after the presidential election in 90 years, says CNN. Wait, what are they saying exactly?
My goodness gracious. Yes, the Republicans are going to control the House of Representatives. But if all the current results hold up, we're looking at a record small majority after the Novembers in the last 90 years. You have to go all the way back since the Herbert Hoover administration to find an even smaller majority after the November elections. We're talking about the Republicans with 220 seats, Democrats with 215 if the current House results hold. And keep in mind that this will drop lower if Stefanik Waltz or others like Matt Gaetz leave the Congress.
Okay. I guess they don't know a whole lot about the politics that are at play here, because Waltz is not losing his seat to a Democrat. Matt Gaetz is not losing his seat to a Democrat. And I don't think Stefanik is losing her seat to a Democrat. Dare I say, I think that that was all in the computations here. because that's how they think. That's what you have to think about if you're President-elect Trump. Because if you're going to take somebody and bring them into your cabinet, you do make the political calculation as to whether or not that seat is a safe seat. You don't just grab somebody. You have to calculate. You have to think about it. And I don't think CNN thought about that. We've got 220 right now. Democrats with 215. They're saying that it'll drop when the Trump nominees leave Congress. But ultimately, where could it go? It could shrink to 217, 215, obviously keeping an eye on some of what's going on with regard to some of the other races, like places in California where they're still counting. I don't think they're counting the votes anymore because I think they got the number they were looking for. I think some of these states that are still counting got the extra votes that they needed to get their candidate of choice across the finish line. So I think that part in some places will be over. So that's good to know. So you don't have to worry about that because they kept counting until they finally got the Democrats in the lead. Okay, good. All right, we can shut everything down now. Literally, that's what they did. That's what they continue to do. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we will put a bow on the show for today. Getting ready for Thanksgiving. Hope you have everything you need gathered up and ready to go and getting excited about spending time with your family and all the good things that go along with it. But we'll put a bow on the show. There's more to talk about here coming up. This is Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. We'll be back.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget,
whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, as we get ready to put a bow in a show on this Thanksgiving Eve, I just came across this video. It just popped up a couple minutes ago, and it's Tom Homan. Tom Homan was on Fox News just a little while ago. He's being asked about how he and others have been the subject of death threats. You would think that after this election, that talk would be over. You have cabinet nominees like Pete Hegseth and Brooke Rollins and Elise Stefanik and others who have been targets of swatting and bomb scares and facing death threats. So here's a clip of Tom Homan, who is the incoming border czar, who wanted to comment on this, and I think you'll appreciate this. Here, check this out.
Well, look, I've been dealing with this when I was the ICE director in the first administration. I had numerous death threats. I had a security detail with me all the time. Even after I retired, the death threats continued. And even after I retired as the ICE director, I had U.S. Marshals protection for a long time to protect me and my family. And what doesn't help is all the negative press around the president and people he's putting in his cabinet. Me, I'm not in the cabinet, but, you know, I've read numerous hit pieces on me. You know, I'm a racist and, you know, I'm the father of family separation, all this other stuff. So the hate media doesn't help at all, because there are some nuts out there that will take advantage. So that doesn't help. And I thought we're beyond that after the election's over, that we're going to get beyond that. But, you know, I will now start taking a little more serious after I just heard what's happened the last 24 hours. Up to that point, I was the attitude that if I'm not home, my family's not home. And they're not home right now, but when I return home, I'm going to bring them home. But I was up the attitude lately that if you want some, come get some.
So I don't know if Big D is there on the other side of the glass. Big D, are you there? We're just checking.
Here.
Okay. So Trump's border czar is like, you want some, come get some. Let me just ask this question. First of all, of course, that's very Tom Homan-esque. I feel like, yeah, that's something he would say. But here's the other thing. Do you think anybody in Kamala Harris's administration, if she were to be the president of the United States, if it were to have happened, which we don't have to worry about, but do you think anybody in her cabinet would have that kind of attitude? Like
Absolutely not. Tom Homan is probably the most say it how it is kind of guy, and I hope that everything he's talking he's going to back up, because the future looks bright with this guy.
Yeah, but you know, Matt Gaetz was too. You know, the difference between Matt Gaetz and, you know, talking the way he talked and Tom Homan talking the way he talked, if you want to, you know, step back and look at this from a 30,000-foot level, Tom Homan is a border czar, right? He's not in the cabinet. Matt Gaetz would be and would have been, and it has to go through the process. So Tom Homan doesn't have to worry about that. So there's also that, right? I mean, listen, we're here to get things done. And so and that's the thing. The powers that be had the opportunity and did and pulled it off to go after Matt Gaetz and to get him off the playing field, basically. But they can't do it to Tom Homan. So Tom Homan's like, sorry, we're doing this, and we're ready to dig in. All right, anyway. So What are you eating tomorrow? What do you got planned, Big D? What's it going to be? What's
A
on the
whole
menu?
bunch of things. Some vegetable casseroles. There's going to be a turkey. There'll be smoked duck. There'll be a little bit of everything.
Wow, smoked duck. All right.
Oh yeah.
Fancy. Do you lift your pinky up when you eat smoked duck, or how does that work?
No, let's not get carried away, Drew.
Okay, not get carried away. All right. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
All right, listen, I hope everybody has a fantastic Thanksgiving and be safe, enjoy your family, and don't forget, if you want to watch at FL Voice News at any time, Facebook, Rumble, X. Appreciate it.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.